The shelter was quiet, almost too quiet after the chaos of the last few days. Mom and I were shown to a small room with 2 narrow beds and a single lamp. It wasn't much, but it was safe. For the first time in months, I could close my eyes, without listening for footsteps in the hall. The next morning, we met with a counselor who had already received the files I'd sent. She assured us they'd been forwarded to the police and that we wouldn't have to go back to Carl's house. By the end of the week, a detective came to take our statements. He was calm, methodical, but there was no mistaking the shift in his expression as he looked through the evidence. "You did the right thing," he said, "and you might have saved more than just yourselves." Carl was arrested 2 days later. I never saw him again, but I heard enough from the case updates to know he wasn't coming back. There were other victims, people who had been too afraid to speak. My heart ached for them, but it also burned with quiet pride. We had stopped. Mom struggled at first. There were moments when she questioned if we'd made a mistake, when she missed the life we'd left behind, even if it had been poisoned. But every time I reminded her, we didn't lose a home. We saved our lives. Months passed, and little by little, the weight lifted. I focused on school, on friends, on building something that was mine. Mom found work at a local cafe, where she started smiling again, real smiles, the kind I hadn't seen in years. One evening, as we sat on the shelter's back porch watching the sunset, Mom turned to me and said, "You were braver than I was." I shook my head. No, I just couldn't let him win. She took my hand, her grip warm and steady. "You didn't just stop him, you saved me." The sky darkened, but for the first time, it didn't feel threatening. It felt like a curtain closing on one chapter and opening on another. We didn't know exactly where we were headed, but we knew one thing for sure. We were finally walking toward the light.